Well, welcome everyone. I'm glad to see everyone here. And I wanted to talk about rituals and holidays, and most of all, how we're going to manifest our goals and our dreams for the new year. Because, the new year, it's just another day, but we have an expectation that it's the beginning of the year. Of course, we're just starting where the day's becoming longer than the night. It's just started. Of course, it's dark, the darkness right now, because we just had the winter solstice. And of course, it's opposite for the Southern hemispheres, which is so interesting because we get so caught up in thinking, our world is the only world. But yeah, we have a lot of our people are in Australia and New Zealand. So I need to be more careful with what I'm saying. But technically, there's a larger population in the Northern hemispheres, and a lot of the books and, Bible and religious text are written for the Northern hemisphere in terms of the solstice points. But I want to go ahead and share what came up today for the pictures for our vision to better understand what we need to be focusing in on. And I think it's just really, it's always going to be relative for all of us what I pull. But here, let me take it out of the shiny plastic here so we can see. And that's the picture I got today. Very interesting, very clear. I think that this is the male and female energy, but they're also lions, which are the king of the jungle. And the most important thing is the male, the female, and they have their backs turned to each other. What does that mean? They're looking the opposite way. And of course, I got to say, this has to do with relationships. What are we focusing in on now with our relationships? Are we turning our back on someone? Are we looking the opposite direction for a certain reason? Maybe to focus more on ourselves, maybe to find more balance. It's always about balance. And another thing is we put so much energy into our relationships in terms of, usually most of us here are women, but of course, this goes for the male feminine side, where we're always trying to make our partner feel better. Or we go out of our way to make our relationships where the other person is comfortable, at ease. We try our hardest to be considerate, but maybe it's time that we focus on finding our own wholeness, our own completion, because no relationship is going to work if we feel incomplete and not whole and complete within our own self. Because what happens is, what do? But we project our insecurities or issues onto others. But when we're whole and complete, we have relationships that simply, I'm going to mute everyone because I think somebody doesn't know that they're not muted. Of course, if you want to say something, unmute yourself. But I think relationships are where we need to be working. This is what the book's telling us. So always relationships are about finding ourselves and being whole and complete within ourselves if we want our relationships to be healthy. Because, they talk so much about codependency and all those type of things. And really, relationships will work when we are confident within ourselves and we feel whole and complete. And you're gonna laugh when you see this next picture. Now, I intentionally did this where I took a butterfly or a moth, whatever it is, And I only took half of it. I think it was in the middle of a page or something. But I thought, what a good example of transformation that's not complete yet, because it's only half of the butterfly that is depicted here. So this with relationships, and this with a transformational change that is not whole or complete yet, I think is telling us a lot about what we need to know about relationships. And actually, it's interesting because I've been reading another book I read by Rhonda Byrne, and it was, well, here I've got my Kindle on, and I know y'all are reading The Greatest Secret, but the one that I'm reading right now is The Secret to Love, Health, and Money, a master class. That's the one I jumped off into, and mainly because, well, I was reading, I guess I just wanted to read that one. And that's a good, and it's what I needed to hear. But here is what I opened up to, and I wasn't even going to read from the Power today, but my hand just opened it up. And this is appropriate to both of the pictures that we're talking about. And I know you guys are going to add a whole lot more to what I envisioned from those two pictures, because I think they're so meaningful together. But here's what I pulled that I think is so important for us to remember. And it's from the Power. And you know what? You can read the Power over and over and over again. And sometimes you'll read a page and it'll be like you never read it before, because you're going to hear what you need to hear on that day. And here is what I read. The law of one, and it's got a dash, you, exclamation point. There is a simple formula you can use for the law of attraction that will stand you in good stead with every person, situation, and circumstance. As far as the law of attraction is concerned, there is only one person in the world, and that's you. There is no other person, nothing else as far as the law of attraction is concerned. There is only you, because the law of attraction is responding to what? Your feelings, not anybody else's. And that's what we do in relationships, right? We're always concerned with the other person's feeling. And then that leaves lack for who? You. That's my interpretation added to this. Let me go back to reading. It's only what you give that counts. And it's the same for every other person. And so the truth of the law of attraction is the law of you. There is only one you, and there's no other person. For the law of attraction, the other person is you. I can't believe I opened this today because, you know, it's talking about relationships. And the only other person in the relationship is you. And the other person is you. And those other people are you. Whatever you feel about anyone else, you are bringing to you. What you feel about another person, what you think or say about another person, what you do to another person, you do to you. Give judgment and criticism, and you give it to yourself. Give love and appreciation to another person or anything, and you give it to yourself. There is no other for the law of attraction. So it makes no difference if someone else has what you want. When you feel love for it, you're including it in your life. And with anything you don't love, simply turn away from it without judgment, and you won't include it in your life. So one thing I want to remind everyone of, because we're also going to talk about our New Year's resolutions, but we need to remember it's all about you. When you worry so much about what other people think or what other people are going to do and how you can help them, remember you can't help anyone unless you are whole and complete. And you got to remember, anything and everything that you want to manifest, you have to feel it. You can't just think it. You got to remember to take it down into the focal point of feeling it. Feeling is what magnifies and manifests anything that you want in your life. So you may think, I want this, I want that, but you got to feel it like you already have it. It's there. Don't be thinking in the future, I want this, I want to change that. You are that, and it's now. And you have to feel it. And that energy response is going to be the magnification of creation and manifestation. This is how it works. We got to get out of our heads and into our hearts and feel it with all the most powerful emotions, because when you feel, that is the power of creation. We all know that. But we have to be reminded of it all the time, don't we? Because so many times we forget. And then we wonder why we didn't manifest the things we wanted, because we didn't feel them. We didn't bring them into our existence as though they're already there. Because you know darn good and well when you say, oh, I won't have this till I do that. You're never going to get there because you have to be it now. You know, it's like, so, oh, well, I'm not going to start dating till I lose, 20 pounds, all that kind of stuff. Guess what? The person will never start dating because you're putting it in an unattainable position in the future. And that's not going to work. So, along with our feeling essence that we've been talking about for so long, I want to talk about something in my book that I wrote, I think it was in 2006, called The Awaken to the Power Within You. I don't know if any of you have ever read it, but I refer back to it because I wrote it during a very deep and powerful healing time in my life when I was going through great loss. And this was my way to heal. But I wanted to read this about rituals and holidays because we're just coming out of Christmas and all of us have had those expectations. And I want to hear from you some of your expectations and maybe some of the maybe disappointments or feelings that you expected. And don't forget, with Mars being retrograde still, till about January 12th, we're still being inundated with many, many feelings from the past, and we have to give ourselves a break. What are those feelings? We felt them, they're real. And how can we heal them so that they don't control our lives? Because remember, when you're feeling something, that's when you create it. So if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling upset, if you're feeling these past memories that brought these expectations, that brought on your sense of feeling, that's the real manifestation of what you're creating in your life. Why? Because you're coming from a place of feeling. So this was something I wrote because I figured, holidays are sort of like days of rituals that we practice, whether they're birthdays, whether they're Christmas, whether they're Easter. What does it all mean? And I put here most holidays or spiritual practices use, and I want you to think about this because I want you to use this for the new year. Most religious or spiritual practices use the symbol of the flame to activate our spiritual intentions. In temples or churches, you see candles lit. It reminds us of the spiritual force that resides within us. A common practice in Catholicism is to light a candle with a prayer for someone who's ill to help with their recovery. The flames represent eternity, and the prayer invoked with the flame promotes the spirit to heal the sick. At Halloween, we carve out pumpkins and insert a candle to represent the spirit of the souls who have left the body and returned to earth. We honor all souls who have passed. On birthdays, we light candles on a cake, and before we blow them out, we make a wish. This is an act of instilling the flame with our intention. These are all rituals we do, unaware of the significance and power behind them. Rituals and holidays give meaning to our life. Just like, this whole Christmas, this is all the meaning that, and we go back with all the emotional things in our life, don't we? Without these days of importance, life would seem meaningless. We use holidays to give importance and to honor our past. Remember that, which gives power and hope to what? The future. It gives us events to look forward to and share with others that we love. Different cultures share different holidays, whether they're religious, national, or personal. These are events that celebrate life. Whether honoring the living or the dead, rituals make the meaningless meaningful and give sense of purpose. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little bit more because I think this is what we're going to be doing for the holidays to help us. Lighting candles. A powerful technique to focus your mind is lighting candles with intention. As a candle is lit in a church for those in trouble or sick, we can do the same for ourselves. To give this ritual more power, find a special place to keep your candles. The important thing to do is to make this very special and meaningful. Contemplate what you want to create or desire and focus your mind to the flame as you light the candle. Sit and meditate on the flame of your desire and know that the flame has the power to activate and create your wish. It is the power of your intention that will manifest your goals or desires. And remember, with intention, you have to feel emotion. I'm adding that in. Whether or not the flame has any power at all is irrelevant. You can use other meaningful things, such as crystals and stones, to infuse your energy. You are empowering an object with your mind to manifest your desires. Remember this, though. The power is within you, and the flame is enabling you to focus your intent with a sense of power. The power is your intention. Know that the flame is symbolic of the vast, enormous power within you. This is a very relevant time because you are activating or becoming aware of the spirit that resides in you. This is the divine creative power of the universe. So I thought that was meaningful to read just because it's the holidays and we all invoke all this meaning and power into what the holidays represent. And of course, holidays bring back all of the old holidays and memories that are good and bad. So I want y'all to think about what you've been manifesting through your emotions and feelings over this past Christmas and holiday. And I know you all are, because I know astrology. Mars is retrograde right now, bringing up all the old crud. And we're going, why can't I get myself situated away from this? It's just reminding you of what we have in the back of our subconscious mind that has been controlling our lives for a long time. And now it's time for us to recognize and let it go. And relationships are the most powerful understanding and healers as to what we're doing. But look at this. It's not complete yet. So now that I've revisited these pictures and the message that I think these pictures are trying to reveal to us, it's your turn to tell me what you feel the message is about with the lions and the half butterfly or moth, whatever you want to call it. What does that mean for you? And how do you think that this is relevant to this time of year in trying to understand what we're remembering and how to heal it most of all? Anybody want to add to that? Because I always appreciate other viewpoints, because sometimes I don't see it all.
Okay, Joni.
Yes.
All right. So, yes, so Mars retrograde does bring up a lot of memories from the past. And this is why I really like the book, The Greatest Secret, because it tells you how to deal with these emotions that are going to come up, these very strong, horrible, well, they aren't, you know what I mean, very strong emotions that can prevent you from moving forward in your life and getting what you want. And so this will be my second Christmas. Sorry. Obviously, Mars retrograde is working really well right now.
It's working really well. Okay.
But anyway, this will be my second Christmas and holiday season that I spent all by myself since my divorce. And it was a very nasty and all of a sudden divorce, and I had a lot that I had to clear out. Obviously, that's why I was attracted to The Greatest Secret.
Mhm.
And so I will say, though, that this Christmas it was a lot better than last Christmas. So it's getting better. And it's funny because this morning I was listening on my Kindle to The Secret. And the thing that came up was about relationships.
Mhm.
And then here we are talking about relationships. So the thing, and it is, you have to heal these old past wounds so that you can move forward and manifest what you want in your life. But you got to heal them, and you can't just smush them down and push them aside, because they're going to come up and they're going to sabotage you when you least expect it.
Mhm.
And, you know, I've been wanting to move to Dallas for quite some time now.
Mhm.
And anyway, it is interesting because as I seem to heal these past wounds, there's more and more interest in my house. And so I think that it's getting to be more and more of a reality. But it is true. And the interesting thing that The Secret said today was that you know, you have to, before you can be in a relationship, a good relationship, even a friend, you know, even with friends, you know, not only just a romantic one, but with friends, you have to love yourself first. You have to take care of yourself first, you know, and if you don't do that, if you don't love yourself, then how can you expect anybody to love you, you know, who you are attracted to? And if you don't really love yourself, you are going to attract people to you who don't really love you and cannot give you, you know, a healthy relationship. And the picture of the two lines, I'm going on, this is probably too much, but anyway, the picture of the two lines. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever been on a safari or anything, but the female and the male completely pretty much ignore each other until it's mating season. And then the female is the one who's actually the aggressor with that female energy. So, you know, it's not surprising to see the two of them looking in opposition, even though they, you know, they can hang in packs and things like that, you know. But the lion is very independent, and actually so is the female. And so I think in a way this kind of symbolizes that before we can come together, we really need to be centered in ourselves. And then the picture of the half moth or butterfly, whatever it is, once you do that, then the world will open up. There's a rebirth, and you can attract what you want. And the interesting thing is that in the Greatest Secret, or The Secret of the Power, I can't remember now, but they talk about having a symbol, you know, for a symbol that you have in your own mind, something that you love, and that will show you that you're on the right path, you know, you're going in the right direction. And so I had picked a symbol that was very seasonal. I thought it was very seasonal, but it's something that's always meant something to me, and that is butterflies. And I was thinking, how in the world in the wintertime am I going to see butterflies?
Yeah.
And now here, last week's class and this class, there we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, exactly. Last week we had the monarch butterflies. So we're in a process of transformation. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Michelle, because, you know, I know so many people are feeling like you. That's why I wanted to open the door for people to talk today, because I know, you know, others are feeling this. The holiday seasons do this to us, whether we like it or not. And I know this has to be a really intense one with Mars being retrograde. I don't know why, you know, Mars is passion and emotion, really. I mean, that is the planet that triggers major energy, and retrograde planets bring out the past. What have you been angry about your whole life? I guarantee it that Mars is bringing that up right now. And the holidays are those times that we start feeling the deepest, because we start thinking about all the old holidays. What happened? When were we hurt? Did we have a bad Christmas or a good Christmas or whatever? You know, I have to tell you guys, I hate to say it, but I don't like Christmas, because I was always so stressed out to buy my 3 sons toys. And half the time I didn't have the money. And it was just terrifying to try to figure out how I was going to buy those toys for those kids to make it a great Christmas. I was always trying to make it great for them. And I was miserable because of it. And then tax time always came right afterwards, property taxes, and I never had the money. This time of year is so stressful. But you know what? I need to let that go, because it's not the case anymore. So, you know, we all have those feelings that have come up. Anyone else want to share their feelings today? It's okay. This will be a therapy session for us. All right. Anyone else?
Hey, Joni, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is my very first time doing this live. And just last week, it was so interesting. I thought, I'm just going to get out of this. I haven't had time to participate at all.
Yeah.
And, you know, just been crazy busy. But the coincidences from last week's recording were so remarkable,
Yeah.
because you all have actually been just on the same track almost every single week with what I was doing kind of on my own. I had started a program, sorry, with sound just a couple of weeks ago. And there was a girl last week that was talking about Nassim, and I have been in Nassim's class for probably since 2014. So I was just so shocked by all the coincidences from last week and this week too, because yesterday I had a complete meltdown and everything had been going so well. But anyway, I just wanted to share. It made me jump right back in the class and really want to participate more fully.
Thank you so much, because I know a lot of people don't have the day to get off for this, and they do listen to the recording. I am so glad to know that you listen to the recording and you're following along with us with the synchronicity of things.
It's incredible.
I don't choose these things to talk about. The universe does. It blows my mind too. I'm like, what?
I know. It's amazing. It truly
really
is.
Thank you. So
Sure.
yeah, incredible. Thank you so much. Yeah. Anyone else want to add to this?
Joan isn't able to talk, but she wrote in the chat. She had some thoughts.
Okay. Can you see them? Okay. All right. I see. I can't talk today, so I'll write my idea of the pictures pulled. I think the hat butterfly and the lions represent the relationships of this lifetime and the evolution into the equitable portions of yin and yang are worked on by being in a relationship of some sort. The opponent or partner, 7th house in astrology, pushes you to evolve enough so you transform, 8th house, into the complete butterfly. Not easy sometimes, but necessary. Need to overcome our ego to reap the benefits the other person exposes in our lives. That, I can't see, what does that say? In our lives, exposes in ourselves that we need to change. That's very, very true, because, you know, it's so interesting in astrology that the first house, the 7th house, is exactly opposite in its reflection of the first house, which is you. And it's just like what I read in the Power. There is nothing other than you. And therefore, everything that we're feeling is a reflection of something within us, which is a reflection of how we have somehow seen the relationship. But always, and like Michelle said, relationships are a reflection of us. You know, some portion of us, if we don't have good self-esteem, guess what's going to happen? We're going to reflect someone that reflects that back to us, which is not a pretty sight. We're going, why do I attract these kind of people? It's because what you feel about yourself. Relationships are always a mirror image of that. So we got to start taking care of ourselves to better our relationships, because what we view about ourselves is going to be a reflection through the other person, because essentially what the Power is saying, there's nothing but you. And you're learning through relationships what you're doing. That's the reflection. So I know that there's some other people out there. Were you finished talking, Tori? Did I interrupt you? You had something else to say, didn't you?
Yeah, I can talk more. I just wanted to make sure that Joan was able, like, we were able to witness and acknowledge what she put in the chat, because she always has such good
you're
insights.
Right. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah. But also, I guess a couple things I'll say. I'm actually super grateful for the fact that Mars is retrograde right now and that Mercury is about to go
Yeah.
retrograde. And so, like, I've been feeling the pre-shadow because I'm in a Mercury Mahadash right now. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, guys. But anyways, like, so Christmas was like, it was kind of a mixed bag. There were moments that were really hard, but then there were like really beautiful moments for me. And so, like, looking back, I can be really grateful for it, because it just made me appreciate what I have. And like, I saw how it was like kind of giving my power away, like, and also in childhood and like some of the narrative and stories. So like, we're talking today about like the butterfly and transforming, and that's kind of like where I'm leading my life and going with all, especially with what I do. But like also knowing that I have to heal myself in order to help others, because I can't like help them if I don't work on myself. So it's like Christmas was like a really interesting day in general. But I'm very like grateful for it. And like I said, for all these retrogrades, and especially like what's I think is challenging for some of us is that we have this point in the calendar, the Gregorian calendar, where it's telling us to end. But really, like, if you look at nature and the seasons and astrology, it is not the end of the year. It is just like, I mean, we did come to an ending of autumn and a beginning of winter if you're in the northern hemisphere, like vice versa for the southern, where it's like this ending of they're like ending, I think, spring, and now they're going into summer. So we did have that ending, but it's like very different than like the spring and open and action. So I think like there's also some of that we like run up against and conflict with. And so some of the stuff that we're working through. But like I said, I'm really excited for the retrogrades, because it's going to make me think about how I want to like move with myself and my business and transform. And then something to say about candles. I work with candles a lot. Like, I always have candles going during a session, because, and that was something I also was taught through crystal healing, because it opens a portal and it connects people's souls. And so it's able to bring in that light and just bring in what is needed during a session. Like, I'm always burning different candles that have a different intention for like whatever message I receive. And then that typically seems to be a theme, even if I don't know until someone walks in the door. Like, I light them before they show up, and then that seems to be a theme. So I wanted to say that. And then one last thing about the pictures. the two lions, the interesting thing is today I had a coaching session and we were talking about, we identified a patriarch or an archetype within myself called the inner patriarch. And I didn't realize it was this voice I had, but it was basically that the inner patriarch has been doubting my feminine intuition and trying to take charge, when really, like, I'm changing the fact that I want to start leading with my feminine intuition that knows like this is going to happen and doesn't have a doubt about it. It's just like this inner patriarch and masculine coming in and being like, no, it's not happening fast enough, and we're doubting it. So like when I was seeing the two lions back to back, that's what I was like seeing, how the energies weren't in alignment, and how I am then working through like the next picture of the transformation, working towards that, where I will lead with the feminine, and then when I'm ready to take action, that's when I'll call in the masculine. So those were my thoughts.
Thank you. That's amazing. Really, it is that, the synchronicity of all this. Does anybody get anything else about this being a half butterfly? Does that just, when I chose the picture for the book, I chose it because I felt like it represented that the transformation wasn't completed yet. But does anybody see anything different in that maybe I missed? Okay, Kelly, we can't hear you. I see your mouth moving.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we
Okay.
can.
All right. So this was my take when I saw the butterfly. What I saw in the butterfly was that, when it was half butterfly, was that we actually are the full butterfly. Okay. It's the half butterfly that people see. Okay. Because of their insecurities, their innuendos, their drama. All right, call it, well, just name names here of things, but we're really the full butterfly. So we got big ass wings here. All right. And it's the other people that can't see the other half of us, right? That's the problem. That's creating the drama, the karma, right? So that was my first take when I saw the butterfly. That was the message that I got. The other piece with the two lions and the, female and the male, opposite ends, right? But what I saw from that, and then it went into that butterfly thing I just said, was that, it's okay to press the delete button. Okay, you're allowed to press delete. Oh, nope, your energy's not healthy. Oh, nope, you're using me because you have all this half butterfly stuff that I don't need anymore, right? So this is that take, right? So that's where we're at right now. It's like, like we say, out with the old and with the new. This is, and you have to remember, and this is part of the other piece, when we have, as women, if we're women and we have families, we are the matriarchs of our family. We decide what goes. We decide how traditions happen. We decide, who's being a person who's not cool, and you're allowed to call them out. Okay. That's where I think this holiday thing gets mixed up, because I think as women, we have to be strong women, and we have to create family. We have to create our dynamics so that they stay strong for generation. And that component is, I feel like when I saw that, I thought, well, yeah, we all need to be more matriarchs of our family, of our person, of our souls, of our families, of our kids, so that we have traditions and this continues, right? So that their kids will continue it, and we can have happy holidays instead of drama. So that was my message. What I saw with, that mama lion or tiger, or whatever she is pissed because someone's not going along with the flow, and we need to bring that back in together. So that sounds kind of crazy, but was my take I got from Spirit. That's a really important message that we all get, because if we have happiness and we make sure there's happy, then you're not going to have all the chaos of a holiday, because you're going to control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important as matriarchs. We're all matriarchs, whatever we are, as matriarchs in family, friendships, matriarchs in business, whatever that whatever word matriarch you want to use. So maybe we're going to take our matriarch energy into this next year and really blast it out. I think that's an important message right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like that. Thank you. And Jenny, the message she left, her fiance is listening to this, and he just lit a candle next to me. He says it's for healing and love. He loves it when I listen to this class. What a cute guy. You're lucky, Jenny. He is amazing. What a sweetheart. So, but I will say this. I told my kids about my feeling about Christmas. And I said, God, Mom, we never knew that. You always made Christmas so wonderful that we love the holiday. We never knew that you were worrying the whole time. So I guess I carried off the matriarch thing pretty well. And you know what? I've healed that because I don't have that energy anymore. I don't know why I was reminded of those feelings. Yes, it's that Mars energy. And we need to talk about, yeah, the astrology too, about Mercury about to go retrograde, stationing right now. So remember, retrograde planets are always bringing up the past. So the past is, we can't do anything about it, but somehow it still controls us. And we need to look at that and change this dynamic, because to let something of the past affect our future is really limiting. What in the world? Why do we do that? But we still have to see what it is, because we have these unconscious tapes that just pop up when we get triggered by something, right? Holidays are a huge trigger. That's one thing for sure. That's why I wanted to talk about this and see what everyone was feeling about holidays. And what the message came up with everything that I pulled today, it's about relationships. But more than anything, like Tori said, I light candles too right before I do a reading, because I want the intention to be powerful, to heal that person, to help that person. Lighting candles are all about intention, and we're all going to be lighting candles. But make sure you burn them out, you blow them out before you leave the room. But lighting candles for the intentional purpose of recognizing the power of our spirit and our intention and the emotion that goes along with it, and how we're going to manifest and create things. So let me go ahead and share the screen. We'll start looking at the astrology, but I think we're all kind of like on the same, we're on the same level about those pictures that I pulled from the book. They're very simple. And I like what Kelly said about the butterfly. We're really already whole. We are not half, but only through realizing that we are whole and complete will that half be completed. So we're going to do that. That's what this year is going to bring. So here's today, December 27th. This is, we started this class at noon. Dallas is our home point for this class. And just pulling this up, I am so glad the moon is in Aquarius, because it was in Capricorn with Saturn the past 2 days. And I thought that was kind of a solemn heaviness, or just, maybe not so light and bright. It's just kind of heavy. But Mercury, this is so interesting, because Mercury just, I think it's probably today, entered back into Sagittarius from Capricorn. Well, no, it didn't. It's not retrograde yet. So it is in Sagittarius, but I don't know that it makes it into Capricorn. Does it make it into Capricorn the next day? Does anybody have that? Regardless, it is at the very, last degree of the sign, 56 minutes. I mean, it could even make it into, I think it does make it into 0 degrees of Capricorn. You know what? I know it does, because I did my video. It got released way too soon, but I did my video already on YouTube on Mercury retrograde. But it retrogrades at 0 degrees of Capricorn. And then it's going to go back into Sag where it is today. But, this Capricorn energy, Capricorn, when I think about it, it's ruled by Saturn. It's old school. So it's kind of like bringing back, when Mercury turns retrograde, all the old school things of the past, things that are outdated. I want you to remember that, outdated in our lives. So what you're going to be reminded of, you're going to think are relative, but they're actually outdated things that you need to change. That's what Mercury retrograde's going to bring into our lives. Now, Mercury is really close to Venus, and they're both with the sun in the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the sign of truth. To me, it's a sign of beliefs and truth. So what you believe is your truth. And here's the thing, we have the power to believe, use our beliefs, our thinking process for what we want to manifest. Use this power. Because Sagittarius is the sign that's ruled by Jupiter. It is Jupiter in Vedic astrology is called guru. And what does that mean? The teacher. So we're all here with the essence of teaching. And I think we're at this point teaching ourselves what we need to know about our truths and our beliefs and the power of our beliefs. And here's another thing that I really think is meaningful, that they're in a fire sign. Fire is all about inspiration. And that's why I think the flame that we light is so powerful to help us transform and change our lives. So use that flame essence for intention and power of that spirit, reminding ourselves who we really are. We are that spirit, and we're here with the intention to co-create a more beautiful world and make our lives better, and therefore make other people's lives better. That's what we're all, that's another thing. When I was meditating this morning, I realized something that I've heard so many times. When you go into deep meditation, you realize that you don't matter anymore, because all you really realize is you're not a name. I don't mean you do matter, but you know what I mean? You're not who you think you are. That's what I meant to say. You're not the name that you're given. You're one with everything. You are that which everything and everyone is and comes from. That's what you realize. It's not this identity that we're so attached to. It's more about, coming together with our oneness. And that's what meditation brings us, a sense of peace and realization. And we come back in our world and we realize that really everything that you are is what it is. So like it says, there's nothing out there but you. And what you are projecting is what you're going to get and what you're going to see and what you're going to feel. So you need to be more in control about what you feel. What is it what Carl Jung said? What we resist persists. So, we have to realize that we can't resist things and pretend they're not there. We have to realize what they're there for, to heal them. And this is going to make us whole and complete. And that's what retrogrades do. Okay. So we got to embrace things with love and feeling and emotion. This is going to heal our lives, and this is going to bring happiness and joy. Joy is what we're all after, happiness and joy. Everyone in the world, no matter what they're doing, that is the whole essence of why we do things. They're fun, they're creative, they're expressive, they feel good. And that's what we want, that joy and happiness. So that's what we need to make really our goal for next year, to be happy. More than anything, we think we know what's going to make us happy, but sometimes we don't know. We just have to put out to the universe that you want happiness and joy, and let the universe decide sometimes what that's going to be, because sometimes we think we know that certain thing or person's going to make us happy. We can't control other people. That's not the way to go. And we all know that, but hey, we're supposed to be looking at what today, what this is all about, and what this is all about. That's the message I get with my book. But going back to the astrology, Sagittarius is such a powerful, powerful sign for teaching, for truth. And what do they say about the truth? The truth is what sets us free. It's just we have to be open to what the truth really is. And what is the truth? Why we're really here. And why are we really here? For enlightenment, to see the truth of what the reality of this world is here to teach us. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is going to give us a better indication. Mars is in Taurus, and Taurus and Scorpio, those two signs are really about our desires. And they're about wealth and money. You know, desires and wealth and money. Manifesting wealth and money is a great thing because we can help so many more people. It just makes life easy when you're, hey, you know, I've talked to many people that are very spiritual, and they said this, hey, it's much easier to meditate when your bills are being paid than when they're not. So, so, you know, money is a good thing. And we should not be afraid to manifest it like some people are. Get rid of those fears because it's going to help you feel good, and you're going to be able to help. I don't have to worry anymore about my kids getting the toys they wanted for Christmas. You know, I mean, it seems like such a materialistic thing, but it gives you a feeling of being in control and being in power, and that helps you in your meditations and to help other people. So the moon's going to come together with Neptune within the next day, and remember that's going to be a time we can use it as a time of seeing and opening what? The third eye. Have you guys been meditating on the third eye this week, like like we worked on last week, and about sound? And believe it or not, I put on my favorite show last night, Ancient Aliens. They do a marathon on is it Mondays? They do a marathon all day. Ancient Aliens is on the History Channel. I watch it all day. Usually I have the sound turned off because I'm usually, you know, writing and things like that. But I look up every now and then, and what was the whole program about? About Om, sound and vibration. I mean, no coincidence there. The power of sound and how we can use this power through the vibrational frequency, because really sound is vibration, and we want to open our third eye so we can see clearly and be visionaries. And that's really what the sign Sagittarius is all about, seeing the truth. Seeing what the truth is, because the truth is going to free us. We're not going to be consumed with fear anymore. So another thing I noticed about this chart, which was very auspicious, is the fact that Jupiter is almost conjunct the ascendant within 2 degrees. Yes, less than 2 degrees. And that's always an auspicious thing. It means that, well, what the ancient seers said, that if you ever pick a time to do anything, and let's just say the planets are not in good placements, you know, you just can't help, you know, but you got to do something. It's not like you close up shop and you don't do anything just because the planets are in bad positions. What you do is you put a benefic such as Jupiter and Venus exactly on the ascendant. And the great seer Parashara said it would cancel all the evils in the chart. So we're able to look on our astrological programs as to when a benefic will be rising. And of course, it's going to be wherever you are located. I'm in Dallas, so Jupiter was rising on the ascendant in Dallas when we started this class, pretty much. And that is a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, right after we started the class, the ascendant would have been on Jupiter, because what the ascendant moves 1 degree every 4 minutes, and therefore with when it's going to leave a sign from beginning to end, that is the rising sign on the eastern horizon for wherever you are, it takes 2 full hours for a sign to rise across the ascendant from the beginning of the sign to the end of the sign. Consider this, there's 12 signs, houses in astrology. Therefore, this is the 24-hour clock, because each house is 2 hours. 2 times 12 is 24. So within a 24-hour period, all of the zodiacal signs will rise across the ascendant. And what you're going for as somebody who's going to elect a time is when a benefic is on the ascendant. So if I was to plan something and I saw that Jupiter was going to be rising on the ascendant, I would have chosen this around this time, which would have been what, about, to be exact, for it to be 6 degrees, let's see, 4, 5, 6, that would have been about 7 to 8 minutes after we started. Jupiter would have been the same degree as the ascendant, because remember, it's ascendant that's moving across all these signs and over the planets. It's the planets are there for the day. So anyway, I think this is a beautiful, auspicious day for the class, because Jupiter sits right on the ascendant. And well, Mars is sitting in the 3rd house. It's retrograde. It's all about probably bringing up some things that we needed to hear again, by Mars being retrograde in the 3rd house of communications. And so I say here again, listen to it again, because it's retrograde. And the 3rd house is all of our communication skills. So going back and revisiting what we talked last week about the sound vibration is important for us to remember that we have to use sound. And when we're using sound, we're also using what? Affirmation work, saying the things that are going to empower us. And we have to listen to what we say, because I'm sure I'm not the only one here. I catch myself all the time saying things. Why did I say that? I'm going to manifest that in my life. Stop it. So we have to quit using, like we said last week, the words terrible, horrible, bad, using positive. And you know what? You're not going to change it all overnight. So when you catch yourself, just catch yourself. We're all going to do it. Don't beat yourself up and go, I can't believe I did that again. No, we're trying to reprogram our brains, which we have had a lifetime up till this point in time of, some bad programming. It's going to take some time to change it. So don't feel like, God, I know better than that. Why did I just say that? Or why did I just think that? Why did I just feel that? No, it's okay. We are, the fact that we know better is the fact that we catch ourselves. So they think, okay, I'm going to stop thinking that. When we start going into our critical mind phase, stop and think of the things that you want to manifest and you want to create, and think about it with feeling and passion. That's how you're going to create those things in your life. And once again, I want you to remember, it's all about you and what you feel about you. You got to love yourself. This is what it's all about. Like Michelle said, how do you expect somebody to love you if you don't love yourself? You're expecting a lot out of other people that is not right. So find that self-love. Think about what you love about yourself and feel it with emotion. And you know what? You're going to get some people that are going to reflect that they like that aspect of you too, because it's going to be mirrored back to you. All right. So K2 in this chart is in the 8th house. We have the moon in the 12th house. And these are the houses that deal with the past. So we are being reminded of our past so that we can heal it over and over and over again. And I'll tell you something else. When the moon comes up and gets close to Neptune, we're all going to be or have psychic experiences. Even though some of us are much better at the psychic work than others, we're all going to have some psychic awarenesses, because Neptune is about other worlds and psychic abilities. So we're all going to, in the next 24 hours, really feel and know things psychically. Listen to what you're being told or what comes up in your mind. It is absolutely 100% right. I want you to even write it down so you don't forget it. What just pops in your mind, you're going, I don't know why I'm thinking about that. Well, you're probably thinking about it because it's a psychic impulse that you're getting, and you need to listen to it. It's telling you something that you need to know. And here's another thing, talk to the divine spirit, whatever it is that you, your spiritual guide, whatever it may be. Maybe it's your higher mind, maybe it's the divine mother, maybe it is people that have passed on the other side, your family members, but ask them to help you. They're there. It is a fact. And ask them to help you what you need to know psychically so you can work on it and not be working on things blindly. So you know what, with a little help from our friends on the other side, things are easier. So I'm saying that all because the moon is so close to Neptune, and it will cross over Neptune within the next, 24 hours. And we're going to be more all psychically in tune. And looking at this chart, the houses that deal with the past and psychic ability are 4, 8, where K2 is very psychic, K2 in the 8th house, and the moon and Neptune in the 12th. That is amazing. And, you know, we're all going to be empowered with information for the new year on how to work, do our own businesses, to be successful, because the sun, Venus, and Mercury, those 3 planets are in the 10th house. So when you're concentrating on what you want to manifest with your candle of intention, I want you to think about what you want to manifest in terms of what is your purpose. And I'm saying the word purpose very strongly because that's what the 10th house is. And what is our purpose? Essentially, usually our career. We should all have the career that is our purpose, because you know what that's going to do for all of us? If we are living in purpose, that means we have a career that expresses our purpose, and we're living in harmony of who we really are. And that is what our career is supposed to be, what our purpose is. And that's what I think this chart is telling me to tell you. All right. So Saturn, even in the 11th house, choose your friends wisely. Your friends can be, choose your friends wisely. Saturn in Capricorn can be deep wisdom from the past. So I think all of you, everyone here in this class, you are very wise individuals. Otherwise you wouldn't choose to be here, truly, because you want to work on yourself and you want to heal yourself and you want to be the best you can be. And that's why we're all here, to empower one another in this class. So tell me, the only thing I didn't mention though is the Rahu with Uranus in the 2nd house. 2nd house is our money, and this can be major manifestation where we least expect it coming from. But don't forget, there can be some major changes within our family life as well, with that situated in the 2nd house of family and money. But don't be surprised if you have a big windfall of some sort as well, with Rahu and Uranus being there in your 2nd house of major financial. Well, I think of Uranus and Rahu as windfalls, something unexpected, so it can be very powerful. But don't let your family and worries get in the way as well, with that being in the 2nd house. Okay, so with that, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say from what I'm seeing from the chart and from the pictures. Now it's your turn to speak with any last ideas or thoughts about what we just discussed. Okay, so I guess nobody has anything to add. Everything I think everything's been said that we needed to say. But one thing I want to leave with you today is the New Year's coming up. And before we have our next class, it'll be New Year's Eve and it'll be New Year's Day. And I want everyone to do your intention work with the flame, with the candle, remembering everything that we just discussed here. And it's about relationships, but it's about the most important relationship that we have in this world. And no, I don't mean your spouse or I mean you. Your relationship with you is what I want you to recognize, realize, come from a place of emotion and passion about your greatness and how much you love who you are, because I know everyone here is an incredibly beautiful soul that only wants the good for yourself and the world. Remember that and love yourself for it. And you're going to manifest everything that you desire this year. Remember, I said that it will work. So with that, are we good with today? All right. Thank you, everyone. So happy New Year and love yourself. And I want everyone to find joy and happiness in this new year coming up for 2023. Okay. Blessings to you all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank
Happy New
you.
Year, Jen. Thank you.
Bye.